We are back. After 6 months, we're finally back. It took long enough. This was a very long off season for me. Having the Broncos probably have the worst season in franchise history. That was an off season I wanted to hurry up and get past because that was bad. That was really bad. Didn't help watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. You know, that's just salt in the wound right there. But, you know, that's last season. Brand new season. And I'm ready for it. So basically this episode is just gonna be me going over each of these teams, just kind of seeing how they're gonna play out, what I think their roster is going to be, how good the team is going to do, and all of that. A lot of changes in the offseason, as a lot can expect. We're going to kind of go down the roster, the depth chart, stuff like that on a couple of teams, and just see where they stand in terms of, how they match up to the rest of the teams in the league. So I'm going to go on first with, the teams that were really good last year. I always do the Broncos. I always talk about the Broncos last, obviously, so, I'm not going to be sitting here ranting about the Broncos in the middle or in the beginning of the video. If you want to see me rant about them, you can definitely go towards the end of the video. But first team, I'm going to get them out the way. Y'all can see I'm back. It may be a little laggy, sorry about that, but let's get into it. So we're gonna go off first with the Chiefs. Not someone I'm particularly fond of, obviously, but we're gonna get them out the way. Obviously, we know who Patrick Mahomes is. We already know what he's gonna do. Blah blah blah. Kind of strange, but not really. They're running on two quarterbacks, one backup. None on the there's probably some on the practice squad, but very old veteran Blaine Gabbert. I wouldn't particularly choose a veteran quarterback. I would choose like a cheap young guy rather than Blaine Gabbert, to be honest. The running backs, I was really surprised that Clyde Edwards decided to stay. I don't know if he was offered any contracts or anything like that, but I was really surprised that he stayed. Isaiah Pacheco, he's a pretty decent running back, to be honest. For what he does, what he brings to the table. He's very versatile. He's very quick. But Jerick McKinnon, he is you never really know as well. He's a solid backup running back. But their running backs they're all decent, They're not all like insane running backs, but they don't have any trash running backs, which is a good thing for the Chiefs. Bad for the rest of the league, obviously. For the receivers, they're kind of sneaky, You got Cardavius Tooney. I don't know why he wasn't good on the Giants, but apparently he's just going to ball out on the Chiefs, just like everyone that goes to the Chiefs apparently does. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's going to be a new target. I don't believe he was on the team last year. He may have been. I don't know. Kind of forgot. He's kind of sneaky, underrated. He's a very big receiver. But, yeah. You got a lot of little underrated receivers on the Chiefs. A lot of people might be sleeping on them. So you want to watch out on that for the receiving core. Travis Kelce, one of the most overrated players in NFL history, in my opinion. He's questionable for week 1, obviously, with the hyperextended knee. So we're going to see how he plays out with that. Like I said, guys, I'm not a big fan of Travis Kelce, Aaron Donald. These are very overrated players. And if you don't believe so, then you're not really watching. They put up big numbers. I don't lie. That doesn't lie. They put up a lot of big numbers. But in terms of overall skill, I don't see them as some of the elite. They have very easy assignments, I believe. I will say that Aaron Donald, as an overall player, is 10 times better than Travis Kelce. But I still think Aaron Donald is a very overrated. Not saying he's not trash. He's just a very overrated player, in my opinion. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have a low-key pretty trash offensive line. Juwan Taylor, I don't see him doing that great on the Chiefs. But I don't know. I think the Chiefs have a weak offensive line. But you never know with the Chiefs. They're always they can come up with anything, to be honest. So their defense, I don't really know anyone on their defense that is a big name. Chris Jones, I'm glad he's not really participating. That's music to my ears. They got Justin Reed, sneaky underrated safety. Outside of him, they don't really have anyone on their defensive side that I think is a very, threat to the league. But, we'll kind of see. Trent McDuffie, everyone thinks he's going to kind of do pretty decent. I don't think he's going to do that great, to be honest. But we'll kind of see. Harrison Buckner, I don't know how to say his name. Their punter, he's the kicker. He's pretty decent. He's probably top 3 kicker in the league. So, yeah. I think the Chiefs are going to do a little bit worse than they did last year. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I really don't think they're going to get to the Super Bowl again. If they do, it's going to be pure luck in terms of seeding in the playoffs. They are a playoff team. I just don't see them winning the Super Bowl this year. It would be very, very, very much of a surprise to me if they do make it to the Super Bowl again. Next, we're going to go off with a team that was so close. If I can find them. It's going to take a little bit to load. Like I said, it's a little laggy today. We're going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. So with the Philadelphia Eagles, we all know, robbed of the Super Bowl. But I think they're going to bounce back. Do I think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl again? I would find it very hard to believe they make it back to the Super Bowl. Would it surprise me, though? No. I don't think it would surprise me or anyone if they made it back to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, I think he's going to make a big step. I think this year he's going to be in the MVP category again if he doesn't get injured and stuff like that. He was robbed of MVP last year. I feel like if Mahomes is even near MVP of any type of award, they're going to give it to him just for the publicity. So, he was robbed of Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl win, and MVP. So that kind of sucks. They do have Marcus Mariota. In my opinion, Marcus Mariota is he's not a bad backup. That's a solid backup. He does not deserve a starting spot, I'll tell you that. But he's a solid backup. If you need him to go in maybe for half a game, maybe one game, that's all you kind of need. You don't want him to play more than that, though. I'm really excited for this running back room with the Eagles. They have DeAndre Swift, a very underrated running back. He was on the Lions. Couldn't really get anything going. The offensive line wasn't that great. Obviously, the Lions aren't great in general, but I'm excited to see what they can do, what DeAndre Swift can do with a really good offensive line and a solid, scheme. Rashad Penny is also a pretty decent running back. Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, they're also pretty decent. It's kind of like the Chiefs. They have a solid running back core. And we all know, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert. These are 4 solid weapons for Jalen Hurts. And I do think that this can be a very deadly receiver duo with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert needs to step up and make, his presence known to make this offense very scary. He did not do that last year, mainly with injuries and stuff like that, but it is what it is. They also got Albert Okwuegbunam. He was on the Broncos last year, and I believe the year before that. He could never really get going, very inconsistent tight end. He's a solid, he had a lot of potential. He just had no hands. He had the speed and everything like that, but he was not coordinated. Just couldn't do it. Solid offensive line, obviously. There's nothing to really go on there. You got Brandon Graham. He's still kind of playing, surprisingly. You got Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, Zach Cunningham, Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury, Terrell Edmonds. This is a very solid defense for the Eagles. Their defensive front is insane, actually insane. You still got Jordan Davis back there as well. They got dogs back there, and it's pretty. The NFC better watch out for their quarterbacks, because this is going to be some deadly, pass attack. You also got Darius Slay back there. I was never really a big fan of Darius Slay. I respect his game and everything, but I'm just not a big Darius Slay guy. That's just me, though. Jake Elliott, still a solid, kicker. Quez Watkins, a pretty decent, punt returner. That's where he kind of shines on the Eagles. I don't really see him make plays on the offensive side as much as I would like, but he's a pretty decent punt returner. Do I think the Eagles are going to do decent this year? I do. They're going to make the playoffs. Are they going to do anything further than that? Maybe. Do I hope so? Kinda. I'm always like an Eagles, I've always kind of liked the Eagles a little bit. Sorry, it's being really slow for some reason today. But the next team we're going to be talking about is the Bengals. Sorry, it's being really slow. Let's just go back here for the time being. We're going to be talking about the Bengals next. Obviously, we all know Joe Burrow. Is he going to be 100%? I don't know. I don't see him being 100% week one anyway. But we'll kind of see. Obviously, they have a solid receiving core and stuff like that. And I do believe that they can kind of make some noise depending on how they play. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to get it set up here. So the Bengals, I'm not a big Joe Burrow guy. A lot of people love Joe Burrow, and he's a great quarterback. I don't put him at the elite. A lot of people put him in the top 3, top 5, maybe top 2 in terms of quarterbacks. I just don't see him that. I don't see him at that level yet. But a lot of people do. And I can't see it. I just can't. He's a solid quarterback, but it is what it is. I just don't see it. We do have it back here. So we're going to switch it back. They got Joe Mixon. A very strange offseason for Joe Mixon. He's kind of had all the weird shooting his neighbor's kids type thing. I don't know. Very strange. They have a very weak running back core ever since the trade, but they lost Pirine to the Broncos. So Joe Mixon's going to definitely need to carry the load on that offensive running back room. You still got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, probably one of the best, if not the best, trio of receivers in the league. But yeah, they do need some decent tight ends. I'm not a big fan of their tight end room. not a crazy fan of their offensive line room either. But to be fair, there's like very few great offensive line rooms in the league. Let's go down to their defense. I'm not a big fan of their defense, to be honest. They have some playmakers here and there. DJ Reader, BJ Hill. They have a solid 2, big D tackles. But outside of that, I just don't see them being any type of lockdown team. Evan McPherson is a decent kicker, so at least they have that going for them as well. The next team we're going to be going over is the... Where are they? We're going to be going over the San Francisco 49ers. A very strange team year in, year out. You look at them, you're like, they're going to be horrible. They end up making the playoffs. They'll sometimes randomly get to the Super Bowl. You never know how they're going to do. I don't even know what they're going to do in this particular season. They got Brock Purdy. Is he going to have a sophomore slump? Is he going to be a one-season hit wonder? I don't know. But either way, they got a decent backup in Sam Darnold. If Brock Purdy isn't 100%, you can still throw in Sam Darnold. He's going to be decent. But, the quarterback room is very... It's up in the air. You don't really know what's going to kind of go down there. Christian McCaffrey, obviously you know what he's capable of. But, injuries from the past couple years can say, hey, you need some other running backs in there. I just don't think that the 49ers have a running back room like that. That's just my opinion. You still got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Ray McLeod, Juwan Jennings. These are pretty solid receivers. Ronnie Bell is pretty decent as well. You got some decent weapons. Obviously George Kittle. George Kittle kind of fell off a little bit. He's had some slump years these last couple of years. He's still decent, though. He's still kind of a scary sight to see in the blocking game, along with Kyle Juszczyk. Obviously, Swiss Army knife of a guy. Trent Williams, probably the best left tackle in the game. But, their offensive line is pretty decent. Their defense is where I think their biggest weakness is. Besides the front, you got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. These guys are going to be consistent all the time. Eric Armstead is always really good as well. Javen Havgrave, he might do pretty decent. I don't know. But Drake Greenlaw is kind of underrated as well. Chardavius Ward, he's up there. He's up like a toss-up as well. Their secondary is where they're going to struggle big time. This is the biggest weak link in the 49ers team is that secondary. And I just think that's going to cause them problems if they get near the playoffs. Next is a team that is very strange and I believe cursed, is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl, and they just can't get over the hump. You got Josh Allen. You already know what he can bring. He's going to bring turnovers, but he's also going to bring a lot of points. Very big quarterback. I think he's probably the biggest quarterback in the league right now. You got James Cook, Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, Naheem Hines. It's a decent running back room. I think it's a decent running back room. I wish there was someone that was just a little bit, like a little spark. I feel like they just don't have that spark in the running back room. You still got Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. It's a pretty decent duo. Outside of them, I don't really see any other weapons. Dawson Knox is a pretty decent tight end. Outside of him, I don't really see anybody that's going to cause any, noise. Deion Dawkins is okay. Connor McGovern, I didn't even know was on the Buffalo Bills, but there you go. Their defense is kind of all over the place. They got some, weapons here and there. I'm not a big Jordan Poyer guy. Tre'Davious White, he's pretty decent. I still don't put him at the elite like some of these other guys. Matt Milano is a pretty underrated linebacker. But, yeah, it is what it is. I just don't see their defense holding up too great. Tyler Bass is a pretty decent kicker. You got Sam Martin as well as their punter. So they have a pretty solid roster outside of the, missing pieces on the defense that I think are going to cause very big problems for when they get to the playoffs. Next is a team no one but Texas likes, the Dallas Cowboys. So this roster is a very interesting one. They traded for Trey Lance to back up Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is still the backup. Technically, Trey Lance is a third string. But I was very surprised that the Cowboys were even interested in that. I feel like Trey Lance could have had other options, to be honest. But, if the 49ers want to give it to the Cowboys, let them give it to them, I guess. I don't see Dak Prescott doing great this season. Do I hope he does? I kind of hope he does good, though. You know what I mean? But do I think he does do good? I don't think so. I think he's going to kind of wet the bed and do the exact same thing as last year. I don't have Dak Prescott as an elite quarterback. He's a very strong leader, great locker room guy, pretty solid quarterback, but I don't put him at the elite. You need an elite quarterback to compete in the NFL today. They still got Tony Pollard. They got that short little running back. I don't think he's going to be that decent. Everyone's saying that he's going to be pretty good. I just don't see it. You got to be that guy. If you're going to be that short at the running back position, you got to be like Darian Sproles, and a lot of people are not Darian Sproles. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, it's a sneaky receiving core if they can play it correctly. They still, to this day, cannot get a big body receiver. They need a big body, and they're not bringing one in. I think one of the weakest points in the Cowboys roster is their tight end core. These guys are not good. I don't see them being any threat to any defense. This is not a good tight end group. I'm not even really sure how this offensive line is. Obviously, Zach Martin's going to do his thing. Outside of him, I'm not fully invested into these guys. But we'll see how that plays out. DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously, if he's out there, he's going to cause some problems. Micah Parsons, he's going to do some damage. They have some decent, they got a decent front four. They still got Stephon Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs. I think that's a kind of underrated little cornerback group. But we'll see how that plays out as well. The Cowboys, I think, are not going to do as great. But it's hard for me to think that they're going to be a playoff team. But I think they are. Just because they managed to win the division all the time. But, yeah. Next, we're going with another division with the New York Giants. The New York Giants, for me, were a pretty fun team to watch last year. I was very proud of the Giants. A lot of people were not giving them respect. I was just... I don't know. I was a big fan of the Giants last year. I loved watching them. It was really entertaining. Daniel Jones is a very underrated quarterback, in my opinion. If you're doing what Daniel Jones did with the weapons that he had, rewatch the Giants last year and look how much Daniel Jones carried that offense. If he didn't do good, they lost. If he didn't do good, they lost. Like, no one stepped up when Daniel Jones had an off day. Like, his team was always trash, no matter the week. But they have, Tyrod Taylor as their backup. I think Tyrod Taylor had maybe 2 good seasons in his entire career. So I don't see him even as a good backup, to be honest. Saquon is about 100%, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see how he's going to play out. Matt Breida, I forgot he was even on the team because Saquon's in all the time. I really wish... So the Giants went out and got a receiver. I don't even remember his name, but they went out and got a receiver. It's one of these guys here. I'm hoping that he can kind of, bring a spark to this very lackluster receiving core. But, they also picked up Darren Waller. He has maybe 1 or 2 great seasons left, and then he's going to kind of fall off a cliff, in my opinion. But let's see what they can do with the time that he has left. Offensive line, I don't see them being good at all. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones is going to have to make some plays again. But, yeah. Well, no, they have a decent tackle. I believe it's Evan Neal. He's a pretty decent tackle. Their defense is kind of all over the place. I think they're going to be decent in the... I don't know. It's a kind of average defense, to be honest. I don't see them doing consistently good or consistently bad. It's just kind of... They're going to kind of be the whole year. You know what I mean? But, yeah, they definitely need to beef up there's a lot of missing pieces on the Giants. Let's be honest here. There's a lot of missing pieces, but hopefully they can kind of, win some games like they did last year. Next, we're going to go to a team that I think is going to do pretty decent, and it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're going to do pretty decent for a couple of reasons. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make a big step this year. I think he's going to shut a lot of people up, to be honest. Am I ready for that? Not really. I don't really want to see him do that great because he's an AFC team, but I think he's going to do decent. We'll see. I'm kind of interested in to see if this running back core is like that. I know a lot of people are hyping up this running back core, and I'm not seeing it, but we're gonna find out. I do believe that they have a very underrated receiving core. They have some fast guys. They have Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. These are all speed guys, very speed guys. So we're gonna see how they play out. Evan Ingram, he's still on the team. Y'all know how I feel about Evan Ingram. I think he's one of the worst tight ends in the league. He has hands made of jello, but he did pretty decent last year. I'm not even going to hate on him. He did pretty decent, but I wish he did that with Daniel Jones. Give him some help, but of course no one wants to help him. I don't see them having a great offensive line. That's just me. They have a decent right guard. Outside of that, I don't really see them, protecting Trevor Lawrence all that well. But he's also very athletic, so he can just run from defenders. I'm not a big fan of their defense, to be honest. I think their defense has a lot of pieces missing in terms of the front four and, to be honest, all over the place. They have missing pieces in multiple areas. They have one good defensive tackle. They got Josh Allen. They have, I don't even know, man. I just don't see them having a great defense. And I feel like they have a lot of missing pieces. They do have Brandon McManus, a pretty solid kicker. He had a really bad year last year on the Broncos, but he's a pretty solid kicker. Kind of gets you what you need. But do I see the Jaguars doing crazy great? No, but I do see them putting, doing some damage this year. I do. Maybe getting some underrated wins. This is a team that I've always actually hated, not just because of the whole Russell Wilson thing. I've hated this team ever since I was little. I was a big Colts fan back in the day. I always hated the Seahawks. I always hated the Chargers. And I still hate both of them to this day. Geno Smith, I think, had a very lucky season last year. Credit to him, he had a great season, but I think it was very lucky. I don't see him having a great year like he did last year. Maybe he will. Who knows? If he has another great year, he proved me wrong, but I don't see him having a great year again. Do I see Drew Lock stepping in at some point? I think I do. I think, if they get on a little losing streak, I see them put Drew Lock in, kind of see what he can do. He's still, Drew Lock is Drew Lock. You're going to get the gunslinger, you're going to get interceptions. But, it's a coin flip with Drew Lock, I guess. I don't know. I kind of want to see Drew Lock to play. That's the only reason why. I'm a big Drew Lock fan, to be honest. He never got a fair shot in Denver. They have a pretty trash running back core. That's a weak link, in my opinion. I think they're going to be a pass-heavy offense with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. They're just going to do their thing. They still have Noah Fant, Will Dissly. They have pretty solid tight ends. They have a pretty trash offensive line. But, yeah. They got Draymond Jones coming from Denver. We lost him in free agency. He wanted a lot of money. He's a pretty solid pickup for the Seahawks. I think he's going to do pretty decent in their scheme. They still got Bobby Wagner, obviously. Jamal Adams is going to come back, let off multiple touchdowns, but make huge hits in the run game. Quandre Diggs, he's pretty good as well. Tariq Woolen is a very underrated cornerback. He's a very sneaky lockdown corner. Devin Witherspoon, I don't see him like that, but we'll see. Jason Myers, I don't have him as a great kicker, but do I think the Seahawks are going to do as well as they did last year? I don't think so, but I guess we'll find out. I just don't see them doing as great. The next team we're going to be going off of is the Miami Dolphins. So with the Miami Dolphins, we're going to kind of see what this... People forget the Dolphins last year, they started off hot. They started off as one of the best teams in the league. Looked like they were going to make the Super Bowl and everything, and then injuries just completely derailed that. You got Tua. We'll see how he plays. I think this team rides on Tua. As Tua goes, the team goes. I think they have a pretty weak running back core. They didn't get a chance to, snag DeAndre Swift or what's his name? Dalvin Cook. They didn't get a chance to snag either of those running backs or some other guys in the draft. So I think the running back core is their weak link. They got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, very dangerous little duo there. River Craycraft, he was a Bronco back in the day on the practice squad, and he's a very big body receiver that can, kind of get you a random touchdown here and there. So keep an eye out for him. Cedric Wilson Jr., he's a very quick receiver as well. Braxton Berrios is a pretty decent receiver, so they got some decent receivers. I don't see them having crazy great tight ends. It kind of sucks not having Gesicki back there anymore, but we'll see how they play out. They have a pretty trash offensive line. Nothing's changed really in that way. Christian Wilkins, he's a pretty good edge rusher there. But outside of him, you got David Long, Jason Phillips, he's pretty decent as well. But I'm not a big fan of Bradley Chubb. I was never a Bradley Chubb fan. I hated the pick when the Broncos picked him. I just am not a fan of him. He's a very inconsistent, overrated running linebacker. Outside of that, he's a cool guy, but I'm not a fan. You got Xavier Howard, Eli Apple, and I don't even know how to say that other cornerback's name, but they have a pretty decent secondary. Nothing to be, crazy scared of, but we'll see what they can do. Do I have the Dolphins doing anything crazy? Maybe. I was pretty surprised when they were, on that hot streak last year, but maybe they can catch fire again. Maybe they can stay healthy this time. We'll see. Next is a team, we were just talking about them. It's a team that I just cannot stand at all. We got the Chargers here. So with the Chargers, Justin Herbert is a pretty solid quarterback. I think he's also very overrated, though. They ask him to do a lot of things that he can't do. He can do a lot of things very well, but I'm not all in on Justin Herbert. A lot of people have him as like a top 5 quarterback as well, and I just don't see it. I just don't. Austin Eckler, you already know what he's going to do. He's going to touch the ball at least 50 times a game, so he's going to get some numbers, obviously. If you want him in fantasy, you better pick him up now. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, pretty solid little duo. Keenan Allen is still that guy in terms of route running. Kind of scary that he's still that efficient in it. Gerald Everett, I don't think he's that great of a tight end. I think he's pretty trash, to be honest. But the offensive line is pretty trash as well, so no one's really going to be too scared of them. Their defense is also not that great. Derwin James Jr., I think he's kind of overrated. Asante Samuel Jr., same with him. I think they're both pretty overrated. You got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa still rushing the quarterback, but they're both old. They're getting weak. They're getting slower. They're just not as consistent as they used to be or as scary as they used to be, so I'm not too scared about them. They got the big names out there, but outside of that, I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. Do I think they're a playoff team, though? Maybe. They did choke against the Jaguars. That was pretty hilarious. Next, we're going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. So them losing Dalvin Cook really, really stings for them. I low-key thought that they were going to get his brother and then, trade Dalvin Cook and then just develop his brother, but that would be kind of messed up. We got Kirk Cousins and Nick Mullins as the quarterbacks here. Kirk Cousins, they're saying that he's going to have a crazy season. He's tired of losing. Let's see what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to do anything crazy, to be honest, but we'll see. I'm not a big fan of their running back room. I think they're going to not run the ball great. You still got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and it's a pretty sneaky little duo there with T.J. Hawkinson. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think the Vikings are either going to do extremely well and efficient or put up 10 yards a game on the offensive side. I'm not really sure. Their offensive line isn't that great, but yeah. They got Harrison Phillips, a very underrated, I think, defensive end. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of their defense. I'm not a big fan of Harrison Smith either. I think he's a very overrated safety. In terms of longevity, yeah, he's really good. But outside of him, I just don't see him as that guy anymore. But do I think the Vikings are going to do that great? I really don't. I'm not sure if it's lagging. If it is, I'm sorry. It's probably really annoying if it is, but I just hope it's not. Next, we're going to go over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that this team is going to do really, really bad. You got Baker Mayfield. This team it's fallen apart since the Super Bowl. They went all out for the Super Bowl. They went out and got some crazy guys, and they brought them in, and now they're recovering from all that draft capital they gave up and tons of cap, everything like that. But I just don't see them doing that great or good at all, to be honest. I think this is going to be a top 10 worst team in the league. We'll see. I think this defense is going to put up no stops. I think they're going to get scored on a lot. Cranberry grape juice. Go get you some. Shaq Barrett's coming off of an ACL injury. Levante David, Devin White. These are solid linebackers. But that alone can't get you, some stops. So I think they're going to get scored on quite a bit in the secondary. I think they're going to get ran over. Their front four is not great. They got Villa still. But outside of him, it's hard to say. I just don't see this team doing that great. I don't see this team having any type of potential. But who knows? Next, we're going to go on the LA Rams. I'm not a big fan of the Rams. I was never a fan of the Rams. Even when they were the St. Louis Rams, I was not a fan of them. But I don't think Matthew Stafford's going to do that great this year. I'm not a fan of their running back room either. Cooper Kupp is their only good receiver, in my opinion. So, yeah, they got Tyler Higbee, pretty solid tight end, but I think this is going to be a really lackluster offensive group. I don't think they're going to put up a lot of points. Their defense, it's a pretty young defense as well. I also don't see them I just don't see the Rams doing good this year. If the Rams do good this year, I will be very surprised. If they make it to the playoffs, wow. I just don't see them winning a lot of games. But that's just my opinion. I think they have the potential to do good. I just don't see them doing good realistically. Next, we have a team that I'm kind of interested in. We're going to go over the Green Bay Packers. So obviously, Aaron Rodgers no longer on the team. That's kind of weird not seeing Aaron Rodgers in a Green Bay Packer uniform. But Jordan Love, this is his time to shine. If he does not do good this season, best believe he's not going to be on the team next year. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, they have a strong two-back. I think this receiving core is going to either do pretty solid or complete garbage. No in between. I just don't see them being a consistent room along with that offensive line group. You still have Kenny Clark. He's pretty good. You got Jair Alexander, solid cornerback, probably a top 3, top 5. Darnell Savage. You got some okay guys, but I just don't see this team. This team is in rebuild mode, They're going to need a couple of years to become dangerous again. Next, we have a team that no one likes, the Raiders. I think the Raiders are not going to do good this year. Having, Jimmy G as your quarterback on the Raiders, I just don't see that as a good fit. But, is he going to prove me wrong? I hope not. I just don't see Jimmy G as that guy. Josh Jacobs, on the other hand, is that guy. And he will continue being that guy. Josh Jacobs is a very, very, very good running back. And I wish he was not on the Raiders because I'm a big fan of him. Same with Devontae Smith. He was my favorite receiver before he got to the Raiders. Now I don't really like him anymore. I don't know. This is a sneaky offense, but at the same time, I just think they can't put up consistent numbers, mainly with Jimmy G back there. I think he's going to get pressured. I think, he's going to get sacked a lot. But I guess we just got to have to see. Their defense, on the other hand, is their weak link. They have Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. Outside of them, there's no one that is a big threat. And I feel like that is where they're going to get exposed by slants and just routes. I think they're going to get scored on a lot, especially in the red zone. I think they're going to get scored on in the red zone consistently. I don't think they're going to let up big plays, but I think they're going to get scored on a lot whenever the team gets into the red zone. I don't see the Raiders being a playoff team. I think they're going to be a bottom 12 team this year. Next, we have the Chicago Bears. This team is also a big toss-up. This team kind of rides on Justin Fields, I think. If he does not do good in the passing game, this team is not going to do absolutely anything. He needs to throw the ball accurately and efficiently to get this team where it needs to go. I'm not a big fan of their running back core or their receiver core. Darnell Mooney, I think, is their... DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney are their only two good receivers. They just need that third guy, and I think they're just missing that. Because Chase Claypool is not that third guy. I'll tell you that much. Tight ends, I don't think they have good tight ends as well. They need to definitely upgrade in that way. But we'll see. Their offensive line, I'm pretty sure nothing really changed. I think they're going to be just as trash as they were last year. But we'll also see how that plays out. Their defense, they have Tremaine Edmonds. Pretty cool. But outside of him, who knows, This is a very lackluster team. Eddie Jackson, obviously, he's like that. But outside of that, I don't see them doing that great. So if the offense doesn't put up tons of numbers, I don't see the defense holding up against some of these high-powered offenses. But let me double check here. It says the Rams, but I already went over them. Dang it. Did I miss one? I may have missed one. Great. Next, we're going to go over the Saints, though. They got Derek Carr, Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara. He's suspended, though. He's going to come back, obviously. I'm surprised Jameis Winston is still on this team. I feel like he should have went to a different team. I'm not sure if he's under contract or anything like that, but I kind of wanted to see him not be on the Saints. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Rashad Shaheed. We're going to see how they play out. Michael Thomas, the slant god, he's going to run his slants like he always does, but let's see. I just don't see them having a great receiving core if they can't put up numbers consistently. But they may do pretty decent. I don't know. This team kind of depends on how Derek Carr plays. Cameron Jordan's still playing like a beast. Demario Davis still playing like a beast. Tyrann Mathieu still playing. Marcus May, Marshawn Lattimore. They have a pretty decent defense. But in terms of them playing consistently and staying healthy is another thing they need to watch out for. Next is a team I'm very intrigued about for one particular reason. Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, just from hearing about kind of how he carries himself as a quarterback and what he's doing in terms of preparation is something that 5-year, 4-year veterans do. Anthony Richardson is going to be one of the greatest leaders, I think, in the NFL. I'm rooting for him to win Rookie of the Year. Do I think he's going to do that? No. I hope he does, though. Anthony Richardson he's going to be, I'm a fan of him. I haven't even seen him play. I'm a fan of him. Gardner Minshew, Sam Ehlinger, they have a solid quarterback room. You know what I mean? You can kind of throw in any of those three guys. But their, running back room, if Jonathan Taylor's not able to go, this running back is not going to help whoever's at the quarterback position. Michael Pittman Jr., I'm not a fan of him. I think he's very overrated, very trash. I did not know Isaiah McKenzie is on this team. He's probably going to be the punt returner. This is a very lackluster receiving core. I just don't see them doing anything in the receiving core to help out Anthony Richardson, unfortunately. With their offensive line, you got Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly. Outside of that, I don't think they're really going to be protecting any quarterback that's back there. But we'll kind of see. They got DeForest Buckner still, Shaquille Leonard. They lost, what's his name? The cornerback that's on the Cowboys now, Stephon Gilmore. So we'll kind of see how they do. This team has a lot of missing pieces, but they are in rebuild mode. But this team is just missing pieces all over the place. Next, we have the New England Patriots, a team that no one is really scared of anymore. Remember when everyone was scared to play the Patriots? Now it's like you almost kind of like, yes, whenever you play the Patriots. Mac Jones, I don't see him as that guy. I just don't. Same with the running back core. I can't believe they put Zeke as like the backup. It's kind of disrespectful, I think. If you're telling me that Zeke isn't the best running back on the Patriots right now, you're tripping. Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry. This is a receiving core that no one is going to be scared of. So this team, I don't think is going to do that great. This offensive line is already not that great anyway. I don't think this team is going to do good at all in the offensive side. Defensive side, maybe they're going to put up some numbers. You got Jabril Peppers, very underrated safety in my opinion. But outside of that, I just don't see this team doing good. I think this is going to be a top 10 worst team in the league this season, but who knows? They might prove me wrong. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans. I'm not a fan of the Titans. That's another team I was never a fan of, was the Titans. The only Titan I've ever liked was Chris Johnson. Outside of him, I'm not a fan of the Titans and their organization. Ryan Tannehill, I don't think he's that great. Malik Willis, he's not good. Will Levis, I don't think he's good either. This quarterback core, I don't think is great. Ryan Tannehill is definitely the best out of the three, but I just don't see him as that guy either. Derrick Henry, you already know what he's going to do. DeAndre Hopkins is the only receiver on this, roster who could probably catch a football. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to put up a lot of numbers unless Derrick Henry is going to put up, 200 yards a game. Offensive line, I don't see them doing anything special protecting-wise. Their defense is missing players in all positions. I think this is also not a good team. I do know they're going to run the hell out of Derrick Henry. That is already confirmed. But I'm not a big fan of the Titans and what they're doing. I think they're kind of just... they're not taking it serious. Next we have the New York Jets. A team that almost everyone is talking about. Of course, Hard Knocks, blah, blah, blah. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers used to be one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. He easily moved out of that, little list. You already know what he's going to do. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to put up pretty decent numbers. He's going to make those crazy plays here and there. But, yeah. Zach Wilson, I don't think he's going to touch the field this year unless Aaron Rodgers gets hurt or they're blowing out a team. I just don't see him going in, even if Aaron Rodgers is playing poorly. You got Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall. This is a very sneaky two-back if they stay healthy. Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, McCole Hardman. This is a pretty sneaky receiving core as well. So we'll kind of see. They have a pretty decent offensive line. Nothing to be, overly excited about, but it's pretty decent. Quentin Williams, he needs to step up. He needs to step up and quit being a baby. He needs to get on the field, play the full season, help out his team. I'm tired of seeing Quentin Williams always hurt. I have yet to see anything since he's gotten out of college. CJ Mosley is also a pretty decent linebacker. We'll kind of see what he does, but who knows. Sauce Gardner, Adrian Amos, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead. They have a pretty solid secondary. I do think Sauce Gardner is not going to do as great as he did last year because they're actually going to call penalties on him this time. But yeah. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I guess we'll also see. Next, we have the Washington Commanders. This is also a pretty random team that I'm not sure how it's going to do. For one, they're missing pieces all over the place. For example, quarterback. Brian Robinson Jr., Antonio Gibson. Pretty okay running back group, but they need another guy, Terry McLaurin is a very, very underrated receiver who's on one of the worst teams in the league, wasting his talent away like how, DeAndre Hopkins was doing at the Texans before Deshaun got there. But give Terry McLaurin a quarterback and watch him put up 2,000 yards. I don't think this team is going to do good at all. I mean, it's missing pieces all over the place, from the offense to the defense. I just don't see this team doing good at all. I think it's going to be a top 10 worst team. But, hey, they may surprise us. Who knows? But I just don't see them doing that great. Everyone is saying this defense is going to go crazy. Everyone's saying Chase Young, Darren Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. They're going to do crazy. Hey, until I see it, I don't believe it. So, prove me wrong, but I hope they do good, but I don't think they're going to do good. Next, we're going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this team is going to do really good this year. I think they're going to win at least 10 to 11 games and make the playoffs. Kenny Pickett, I think, is going to do pretty good. Najee Harris. I think this whole running back core is going to do pretty okay. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson. I think they're going to put up some pretty solid numbers if Kenny Pickett doesn't throw the, interceptions or anything like that. But we'll see how that plays out. Pretty solid offensive line as well. TJ Watt, you already know what he's going to be able to bring to the table. Minkah Fitzpatrick as well in the secondary. It's the matter of who's going to step up. If they step up and make some plays, I think this team can be very, very sneaky. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I think they can. Next is a team that I think is going to be a top 3 worst in the league if Kyler Murray doesn't play as many games as I think he will. But yeah, the whole quarterback core, let's just skip that. I mean, there's no one to talk about. Joshua Dobbs, he's going to be the starter, looks like week 1, but we'll kind of see. James Conner, he had that 1 or 2 good seasons with the Steelers and hasn't really bounced back. Marquez Brown, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, Zach Ertz. These are all guys who can potentially put up some decent numbers, but they're not going to. This team is missing pieces all over the place, and I just don't see them doing that great on the offensive side and on the defensive side. This team is missing just countless pieces, top to bottom. I just don't see them having a solid enough roster to win games consistently. Oops, what did I press here? It's probably lagging pretty bad. My bad, guys. Just going to take a little break because I know it's probably lagging. Next, we are going over the Carolina Panthers. I think this team has potential to, do. They're going to do better than last year, I'll tell you that. But do I see them doing crazy great? It's hard to tell. They got Bryce Young, who I think is a pretty solid quarterback in terms of, game managing and stuff like that. It's the matter of, can he make plays? He's not going to go out and lose a game for you, but is he going to go out and win a game for you? That's what you need. I think Miles Sanders is a big pickup for them, so I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. Adam Thielen, DJ Chark Jr., they're a pretty solid little duo. They need that third guy, and I don't think Hayden Hurst is that guy. Their offensive line needs work. It could be worse, but I think it needs a lot of work. But, yeah. So their defense, you got Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Von Bell, Xavier Woods, Jace Horn. Pretty solid guys. Outside of them, you're missing pieces and depth. But who knows? Maybe they'll come out and, carry a little bit. CJ Henderson is okay as well, but I think they're just missing. They're still rebuilding. You know what I mean? They're still rebuilding. They're missing a couple pieces, but give them a year or two, they're going to be a pretty big threat, I think. But as of right now, do they make the playoffs? I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to do better than last year, but they're not going to do that much better because, like I said, they're still rebuilding. They're missing pieces. Next, we're going to go over the Cleveland Browns. Home to, I believe, the best running back in the league, Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson, he played horrible last year. He also didn't play half the year and the whole year before that. But he needs to do good this team is relying on Deshaun Watson. They put all their money into him, so they need to get some form of production back. Nick Chubb, you already know what he's going to bring. You're not going to tackle him. But, yeah. You got Amari Cooper, Marquise Goodwin, Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman. It sucks that Jakeem Grant got hurt. I'm a big Jakeem Grant fan. He's missed all last year with an ACL. He's going to miss all this year with a broken knee. It's tough. It's very tough. Donovan Peoples-Jones, they got potential. They have a solid offensive line. They got potential in the receiving core. This comes down to Deshaun Watson. Is he going to do good? If he doesn't do good, this team is not doing anything. Myles Garrett, you already know what he's going to do. Outside of him, Zadarius Smith, Jordan Elliott's pretty decent. Anthony Walker is pretty good. Denzel Ward he's okay. They got some pieces, but I think their defensive, outside of their front four, I think is going to be their missing link. in terms of production. But, yeah. Let's go down to the Houston Texans next. So the Houston Texans, they're going to do better than last year, I'll tell you that. Are they going to do significantly better? I don't think so. But, yeah. C.J. Stroud is definitely a big, upgrade from Davis Mills and Case Keenum. So that's pretty good. Dameon Pierce, he's going to be okay. He was pretty decent last year. Devin Singletary is a pretty nice pickup. Mike Boone is an okay third string. Outside of that, I don't know. I mean, they don't have any receivers. Robert Woods, he's already kind of old. Noah Brown isn't that great. Dalton Schultz is pretty good, but when your best receiver is your tight end, I don't know. I'm not a fan of their offensive line. I'm just not a fan of this offense outside of the quarterback and running backs. They do have Andrew Beck, a very underrated little tight end, fullback, running back, little Swiss Army knife. So keep an eye out for him, though. Their defense, in my opinion, needs a lot of work. They got Derek Stingley Jr. I think he's going to do kind of decent, to be honest. Denzel Perryman is also a pretty good linebacker. Jimmy Ward is a pretty good safety. But I don't know. This defense is missing a lot of pieces all over the place. I just don't see them putting up crazy numbers or nothing like that. It's crazy stops. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. So with the Falcons, I don't think they're going to do all that great. I'm not a big... I don't know what people are seeing Desmond Ridder as, but I don't see him as, a quarterback that I would want on my team, to be honest. Bijan Robinson, I think he's going to do pretty solid in the NFL. Sucks that he has to be on such a trash team, but yeah. Kyle Pitts, I'm not a big Kyle Pitts fan. I think Kyle Pitts is a very, very, very overrated tight end, and I don't think he's going to do that great. I don't see their offense being scary in any way other than the run game, but I guess we'll find out. This is also still a bottom tier team. This team needs pieces all over the place. I think they're a top 5 worst team, to be honest. But, yeah. You got Cordell Patterson, though. He's pretty cool. But I don't see this team scaring anybody. Next, we're going to go to the Detroit Lions. And I know the team that I had skipped, and I will definitely go over them after this. It is the Ravens. But we're going to go over the Lions first. You got Jared Goff. He actually played pretty good last year. They have Teddy Bridgewater as a backup, which is kind of good because he's going to not throw interceptions. He's going to make the safest possible place. He's going to throw it into the 4th row if no receiver is open. I think this running back core is going to do nothing. Marvin Jones Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to do pretty decent. Khalifa Raymond, maybe he's going to put up some numbers. Josh Reynolds may do something. But, I don't know. They're not going to make a lot of noise, in my opinion, in the offensive side of the ball. Or, I don't know. I just don't think I think this team is not going to do that great. But, hey, they might do pretty good. I don't know. I just don't see them. I mean, if you look at the names on these guys, who's scaring you here? You know what I mean? They got that one dude, Aiden Hutchinson. He's pretty good. Outside of him, I mean, I'm not looking at this defense as something to be scared of. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, maybe. I don't know. I just don't see this team being that scary in any way. Where's that one? Yeah. Even Jeff Okudah left. He went to the, Falcons. But do I think he's even going to do that good there? Probably not. Next, we're going to go over the Baltimore Ravens. This is a team that is going to be all over the place. But, yeah, we're going to kind of see. So, I actually need to get my Sharpie here. I have my paper. Don't need it right now. So obviously Lamar Jackson, we all know what he's going to do. He's going to run the ball very well. He's going to, keep that offense, the chains moving, everything that you need your quarterback to do. But they got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. I don't think this is a really great running back room. I think they need a running back to get this team going again. They got Rashad Bateman. I don't think he's going to do that great. He needs to do great. I don't think he's going to do that great. They got OBJ, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Mark Andrews. I think he's the best tight end in the league. Patrick Rashad. I think that's how you say his name. It's not Richard. But they have a pretty solid offensive line. This team is going to go as far as the receivers take them. Their defense needs work. It does need work. They got Raquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Rock Ya-Sin, Marlon Humphrey, obviously. Michael Pierce is pretty decent. They lost, what's his name? Calais Campbell, I believe. So, yeah, they need to step up because this team has potential, but we'll see how they play. Justin Tucker, I mean, I don't even have to say much about him, but yeah. So this is a topic where I definitely want to get into it. So prepare yourself, people. The Denver Broncos got Russell Wilson. I think he's going to have a comeback year. I'm not saying he played great last year. No one is saying that. But I'm not going to put all the blame on him because Nathaniel Hackett was one of the worst coaches last year. We also didn't really have a play caller. So we were just kind of just chunking plays out there. We didn't even have a dedicated offensive coordinator. We didn't have a head coach. Our defensive coach was our only good coach. The whole season was just horrible from top to bottom. I think Russell Wilson is going to have a bounce back year. You're going to see him running the ball. You're going to see him evading pressure a little bit more. Not as much, but I think he's going to do a little bit more. But he's going to be running a lot. He's going to be running, getting first downs, and I think keeping the chains going. When things aren't going too great, we're stalling on the offense, he's going to run out and get a first down. He's going to take control, I think. I'm excited for this running back room. This is a very, very, very underrated running back room. We got Javonte Williams. I was very heartbroken when he tore his ACL last year. And he came back from a torn ACL and I believe a PCL it was an ACL and damaged MCL or a PCL and ACL tear. One of those. He came back in 10 and a half months. 10 and a half months. That's like Adrian Peterson stuff. Insane. You got P. Ryan back there as well as the second running back. He is a bulldozer of a running back. Him and Saquon probably got them big thighs in the league with, well, them and Nick Chubb. But outside of those three, you ain't getting no thighs bigger than them three guys right there. We have an undrafted rookie free agent. I don't even know really how to say his name. It's a very confusing name. Jalil McLaughlin. He was a really good running back in the preseason. I think he's going to do pretty decent as a three back. He's going to be kind of being thrown in there. He's our speed back. We have two power backs, and this guy is going to be our speed back. I think he's going to put up some numbers. Jerry Jeudy, he got hurt, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I hope he can do something to get back at week 1. We need him big time. We already lost Tim Patrick for the year with the Achilles, which sucks so bad. Cortland Sutton, we're going to see him hopefully do something great. Marvin Mims Jr., he's our rookie that we got out of Oklahoma. He's kind of a speed guy. We have a lot of, question marks. I think this is going to be a run-heavy offense, a very play-action type of offense. This offense isn't going to be fixed overnight. That's not what's going to happen. We're not going to be fixed overnight with Sean Payton coming in. This is going to be a 1 to 2 year process. But when it gets clicking and everything going, this is going to be a dangerous team. Dangerous. Get it? Greg Dulcich, I think he's going to be pretty good this season with an actual play caller. And, yeah. We have a pretty solid tight end group. It doesn't have any, big names popping out, but these guys are very solid and are going to do what they need to do when they're on the field. This offensive line definitely made some big upgrades with Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey, but we also have Quinn Myers. These three guys are really good. Garrett Bowles, we're going to see how he bounces back from his ACL that he tore last year. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's a solid center. I don't think he's going to be on the team next year, though. But we're going to kind of see. So we got Frank Clark, DJ Jones, Mike Purcell, Zach Allen, Nick Benito, Baron Browning. These are all some pretty solid little, pass rushers that I think we're gonna make some noise low key. Alex Singleton, Drew Sanders, Joey Jewell, and Justin Strenad. I think we're gonna do pretty good in the middle linebacker position. We're gonna be running, I believe, a 2 middle linebacker scheme, which is kind of cool, but we'll see how that goes. We also have Randy Gregory, Jonathan Cooper as some more rushers coming in. Randy Gregory needs to stay healthy. If he does not stay healthy, we're kind of screwed in the rush category. So I'm going to make a pretty bold statement here. But at the same time, I don't think it's that bold. We have the best secondary in the league. We do. Think about it. We have Patrick Surtain. He's already the best corner. If you don't think he's the best corner, then you're not really watching football. Let's be honest. If you really think C.J. Gardner is the best cornerback in the league, you are a casual watcher of football. And you just need to stop watching it. Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, it's a pretty solid little safety duo. Justin Simmons, I think, is also the best safety in the league. Caden Stearns, J.K. Skinner, these are solid backups for the safety position. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen there. We also have P.J. Locke. Hopefully he comes back a little bit sooner. Asane Bassi, Damari Mathis. These are guys that are, developing into pretty good cornerbacks. We also have Riley Moss, the only white corner in the league. So we'll see how he does. I'm very excited for this team. I think we're going to do pretty decent. We're not going to be, oh my gosh, Super Bowl bound, blah, blah, blah. Not this season. Next season, maybe. Not this season, though. We're still recovering from a lot of bad mistakes, inconsistency, and stuff like that. We are going to do better. Are we going to do a lot better? Probably not. But this is a learning process. We're still in a rebuild mode. We're still in a healing process. I think we're on our way, though, to do some damage. So I'm excited for that. So that's pretty much everything that I'm going to be talking about in this video here. But we do have picks of the week for week 1. So I will go over those. I'm just going to leave mine here. Who cares about Dak? So Thursday night. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. Should have recorded this on Tuesday. My bad. But we have the Lions and the Chiefs. The Lions and the Chiefs are on Thursday night. I do have the Chiefs winning this. Do I hope they win? No. I really don't. But, they're going to win. But, yeah, that kind of sucks. Next, we're going to go to the 12 o'clock games on Sunday, though. Next, we have the Texans and the Ravens. Texans are at Baltimore. I do have the Ravens winning this game. Do I think it's going to be close? I think it might be. But you got to pick the Ravens here. You just have to. I think the Texans defense can't hold Lamar when he gets out the pocket. Panthers are going to Atlanta. I'm picking the Panthers there. They have no reason to not beat Desmond Ridder. But you never know with the Panthers sometimes. As you all know, I couldn't pick them to win last year. They were the most impossible team to pick. The Bengals are going to Cleveland to face the Browns. I'm picking the Bengals there. I have more confidence in Joe Burrow than I do Deshaun. But this is going to be a close game, I think. I think this is going to be a close game. 49ers are going to Pittsburgh to face off with the Steelers. This is going to be a really good game. I'm not sure if this is a primetime game, but I would want to put this as a primetime if I was somebody. This is a tough pick. This is a very tough pick, I think. I think I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think the Steelers are a very underrated team this year. I think they're going to be making some noise. I'm going with the Steelers. Am I going to be surprised if they get blown out or lose? No. But I have a little bit of faith in the Steelers. Cardinals, Commanders. I'm picking the Commanders. I don't know. This is one of the worst games. This is probably the worst game that's going to be shown to anybody. These are two horrible teams. Top 5, maybe worst. If Kyler Murray plays, I want to say the Cardinals. I don't think he's going to play week 1. I'm picking the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to win. I think Sam Howell is a lot better than anyone on the Cardinals roster. I'm picking the Commanders on that. We got the Bucs and the Vikings. I'm picking the Vikings all day. I think the Vikings are a lot better than the Bucs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs come in and steal this win, though. I just think that the Vikings have a better roster. Next, we have the Jaguars and the Colts. This is going to be an interesting game. I do have the Jaguars winning this, though. But I do think it's going to be kind of close. I think Anthony Richardson might be that guy. Titans and the Saints. I'm picking the Saints all day. The Saints, I think, are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. If the Saints lose, it's gonna be because of Derrick Henry. If the Titans win any game this season, it's because Derrick Henry went complete ape shit on the other team, you know? But that's all the 12 o'clock games. Going to the 3 o'clock games, we're going to go against the Dolphins at LA to face the Chargers. I'm picking the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins are a little bit better than the Chargers. Would I be surprised if the Chargers win? No. I think if the Chargers do win, it's because their defense is going to hold the Dolphins, and I think that the receivers are going to get open very consistently. I don't know. This is a 50-50. Austin Eckler, you already know he's going to get the ball 40-plus times. So if the Dolphins put up a bunch of points, I don't think the Chargers can get a lot of points on the board. But if the Dolphins play inconsistently, the Chargers play pretty consistent on the offense sometimes, and I think they'll steal the win. I'm still going with the Dolphins. I would not be surprised if the Chargers win, though. Rams and the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks winning that. I think the Seahawks are a lot better than the Rams. Like I said, the Rams, to me, have missing pieces. Plus, Cooper Kupp is not going to play this first game. That's a big loss. Plus Aaron Donald, who cares? Eagles and the Patriots. I'm picking the Eagles. If the Eagles lose to the Patriots, come on, dude. I just don't see them losing to the Patriots. I just can't. Packers and the Bears. This is going to be a pretty good game. Jordan Love versus Justin Fields. You know, two kind of quarterbacks who need to prove themselves. We all know Justin Fields can scramble, but can he pass? That's another question. We're going to kind of see how that plays out. But I think the Packers can win this just because they have a better roster. The Bears have a lot of missing pieces. I'm picking the Packers. Would I be surprised if the Bears win? No. Raiders and the Broncos is a 3 o'clock game. I'm picking the Broncos, not just because I'm a Broncos fan. I do believe that we have some shutdown guys on the defense. I think our offense is finally going to get clicking. We actually have running backs. We didn't have running backs when we played the Raiders last year. You know, I'm picking the Broncos. I think we can, finally beat the Raiders after, 5 times. But I have us winning. We just got to contain a couple of guys, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, and we win the game. Simple as that. And Max Crosby. We stop those 3 guys, we blow out the Raiders. Next, we have Sunday night, Cowboys and the Giants. This should be a pretty good game. This is going to be a really good game, I think. I'm kind of glad they put this on Sunday. 2 big rivals, but I think the Cowboys are going to win this. Just by a little bit. Do I want them to win? It's hard to say. Would I be surprised if the Giants blow them out? Not at all. I just think the Cowboys are going to be a little bit more consistent. But don't be surprised. They're playing in MetLife. I think the Giants may sneak this dub, Then we got the last game of the week, Monday night, the Bills and the Jets. This is going to be a really good game. I wish they would have flipped this for Sunday night and then moved the Cowboys-Giants to Monday. But you got to put the Cowboys on Sunday. You just have to. This is a toss-up. This is a very, very tough decision. Man, this is the hardest pick. This is easily the hardest pick. I think I'm going to go with my gut. I think the Jets are going to win this game. I really do. Picking the Jets. Do I want them to win? No. I think the Bills have the potential to easily beat the Jets, but I think the Jets are going to just be a little bit too much for the Bills just for this game. But that's pretty much it. I'm ready, guys. I'm completely ready for the season. I've been waiting a long time. We're back. 6 months. I'm doing all 20 episodes this week, this season. Be prepared for that. I can't wait. I know this is a little bit longer video. Obviously, these videos are going to be a little bit shorter when it's a normal week by week. But yeah, this one's going to be just a little bit longer. This is going to be uploaded right before the game. I'm going to try to upload it around lunchtime. Maybe you can catch it while you're eating some food on your way back from work, preparing meals for the game. Who knows? You know, who cares? You know, some of y'all probably aren't even going to watch it. But anyone that does watch my videos, I appreciate it. I see y'all. I just can't wait. This is going to be a great season. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to be talking about today. We already did the picks, went over every team. Now we just got to wait. But hope y'all enjoyed. I'm going to have everything in the timestamps below. This is going to be a very organized description. If you don't see it, I'm still working on it. The video might be uploaded before the timestamps are there, so if that is the case, my bad. But I will be making the timestamps tonight. And, yeah. I appreciate y'all. It's going to be a fun season, hopefully. 20 episodes are coming. 19 more to go. No, 20 more to go. But, yeah. Let's ride.